The conflict caused by the formation of capitalism, liberal capitalism, and state-controlled capitalism. The contending power are not struggling over ideology but to capture the market economy's significant share. The conflict recently emerged as a flashpoint in China-US relations in Asia. The Philippines, Vietnam, China, Brunei, Taiwan, and Malaysia hold different territorial claims over the sea based on various historical and geographic accounts. First, the South China Sea is a very important commercial waterway connection Asia with Europe and Africa. Secondly, the US has wide-ranging security commitment in East Asia. Third, the South China Sea is a vital trade route in the global supply chain used by American companies. Lastly, China claims a 200 nautical miles EEZ outward from these trade baselines.
China makes a claim towards South China Sea back in 1947. The basis of China claims towards South China Sea is the 9-dash line, which is a U-shaped line. First of all, the 9-dash line that includes as much as 90% of water. The 9-dash line stretches hundreds of kilometers south and east of its southerly Hainan Island. This dotted line was adopted from Chinese maps in the 1940s and represents Beijing's claim over the sea and all land features that are contained within the line. The 9-dash line was originally an 11-dash line, and Chinese geographer Yang Huairen helped etch it. In 1952, it became 9-dash line when in moment of communist camaraderie with Vietnam, Mao gave up China claims over the Gulf of Tonkin.
The disputes amongst China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, and Brunei in the South China Sea have reached an impasse as a result of heightened tensions in recent years. The fact that they involve the concept of sovereignty and that none of the claimant parties are willing to make a compromise have added layers of complexity, preventing much progress from being achieved. A comprehensive and durable resolution of the disputes cannot be expected in the foreseeable future. Therefore, there are suggestions that claimant parties should focus on exploring ways for better management of the dispute. Malaysia has to navigate cautiously under China's watchful eyes while managing expectations from the United States. The situation is not a pleasant one. The step, which will be crucially important, requires engaging in a more serious discussion both domestically and among the parties about what is at stake and how to realistically avoid worst-case outcomes.
Assalamualaikum. Okay, the next point is what will happen to the conflict if the conflict goes to another step, which is the war. Okay, at least two things will be affected. The first is the import activities and the second is the export activity. Okay, for example, the import activity of food commodity like rice will be affected badly. Every year, Malaysia have to import the rice from the another countries like Vietnam to meet the needs of the rice of our country. Okay, when the war happen, it will block and it will distribute the route of the ship from foreign country to sail to the Malaysia and send this import rice. Okay, Malaysia will face difficulties in meeting the living needs of their people. The second is the export activities. One of the biggest export activities in Malaysia, as we know, is palm oil. In 2011, the statistics show that the Malaysia export of the palm oil rose is 17.99 million tons. So, if the war happen, it will cause Malaysia lose some of their income to the country. This situation will make it difficult to Malaysia to cover all the costs and will increase the country debt ratio. Okay, thank you.
Next, Malaysia imported most of our food from the other countries such as Thailand, New Zealand, and Vietnam. Examples of food imported are meat, rice, and dairy products. After the conflict, it gave bad effect to Malaysia, especially to our food community. Most of our food import cannot be entered to this country because all ships cannot go through the route of the sea, since the South China Sea is the maritime superhighway in the world economy. Stock of the food will become limited. It cannot
fulfill the basic need of the population in Malaysia. For example, rice is the second most important crop in the world after wheat, since Asia being the largest consumer and producer. Moreover, local sellers need to increase the price of the food because they face loss in their business. Higher food price could mean serious hardship for millions, especially poor urban consumers who are net food buyers, and lastly, it also affects countries' economy.
The conflict has affected fishery activities in countries which are Malaysia, Vietnam and Thailand in several aspects. Firstly, the fight over fish fans scares the fishers or also fishermen. Since China claims about 80% of the South China Sea, they grow Armada Navy and also Coast Guard. Same goes to Philippine and Vietnam military. This situation gives pressure and burden to the people. Besides, the safety at the South China Sea is now decreasing over time. Waters now usually used for drug trafficking, people smuggling and also illicit trades, which make it dangerous for the fishers to go to the sea. Lastly, the fishery resources at the South China Sea are being exploited at harrowing rates due to the illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing practice and also the destruction of coral reef.
Do you think the crisis will escalate? Yes, I think the crisis will escalate as China has claimed the vast majority of the South China Sea and its exclusive territory, and it is including areas claimed by 6 other governments, including Malaysia. The South China Sea will rich with natural resources and become a global shipping. Furthermore, the US flatly rejected Chinese claims to the South China Sea and dramatically stepped up its military presence in the area. This conflict became worsened as the US military repeatedly deployed strategic weapons platforms, including aircraft carrier groups. Other than that, Malaysia will sign a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with Vietnam to strengthen cooperation in maritime security as the Philippines continues to raise vocal protests against the deployments of Chinese vessels in the Spratly Islands.